Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the SIPREP or summary for the day of 10 to 12 for the 16 to 18 of October for the Israeli-Hamas war. And tentatively, it's still a Israeli-Hamas war. It's not an Israeli-Palestinian war. Unless we're going to see West Bank going into the war, then which makes it Israeli fighting the entire of Palestine. It's not a Israel-Palestine war. I just want to highlight this. And so the Israelis still have not launched their ground offensive. Whatever they expected of the civilians to do, all these civilians that is around in Gaza City to go south, is not going to work out. Even the United Nations says that, you know, you're trying to move 1 million people in one day is not possible, and it has been around 3-4 days, and it's still not possible. It's just physically not possible, and especially at the same time, the Israeli has been continuing their airstrike, hitting within Gaza City in multiple places. They do shelling, and also, and all these airstrikes is just causing more and more collateral damages and collateral injuries and death. More and more civilians are dying due to all these airstrikes, and this only adds up to the casualties and patients at all these various hospitals around Gaza City. You can see that there's a hospital here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. So and all the civilians would just be, you know, moving into all these hospitals, and it just makes it even more impossible for civilians to leave Gaza City because they need immediate medical attention, and this just don't make sense. And so they should have asked the civilians to move south before they started all these airstrikes. So now that they destroyed so many things, so many places are, you know, dangerous, and they cannot, you know, get more equipments in, or like facilities, or, you know, medical equipments for especially incubators and everything. It's just not possible. No, it's just impossible. So this caused the entire delay of this mission and operation for Israel. And Israel, being a conscription country, means that their standing army, a lot of them, like for example for this operation, they have to mobilize their reserve. When they mobilize their reserve, what happens is that they are taking people out of this economy. When they take people out of the economy is affected. How I know? Because Singapore operates on the same conscription system. So this Israeli military operation cannot last forever, and every day they delay, that is a massive hit to the economy. And but no, they are continuing to hold this position, and they're still pondering what to do next. This is the conundrum that the Israeli are facing, and they are trying to balance this impossible balance between minimizing civilian casualties and eliminating Hamas, which is it's going to take a very long time. Let's say they go into the ground offensive. So how do I know as well? Again, because I just went to study the area. Is Gaza City, Gaza Strip is pretty much very close to the size of Singapore, and so they have 2-3 million people within Gaza. Singapore have 7 million at any one time in Singapore. So I was a bit surprised because Singapore is more dense than Gaza. Yeah, I'm also living in a prison, open air prison. No, just joking. No, cannot make light of this kind of thing. So people are dying for real. So, you know, don't laugh. And so the Israeli are still, you know, continuing their airstrike all the way from to the central Gaza Strip, all the way to Khan Yunis, all the way to Rafah. They are still striking all over the place. Marking all of them is pretty much a waste of time. I've marked as much as I can, based on you know, humanly possible ways, and but the airstrikes is definitely more, and I'm seeing more and more footages of civilian death. That's just unfortunate. But there's something new though, is that the Israeli have announced this international humanitarian zone over at El Mawasi. So El Mawasi is actually this place But so what is this humanitarian zone? It's basically this less built up area. This less built up area here in the north of this the real El Mawasi. So this is it looks a bit like an industrial zone. There's a lot of open space. There's actually the port over here, or at least a jetty of sort. So international aid can actually arrive over at this port if they allow, if the Israeli allow. And this is where they want all these civilians to actually evacuate to. They are telling them that this is the safe zone and you should go there. And this is probably the only place the Israelis are not going to bomb, as far as I can tell. So this map, this zone is dedicated, as you can see if you zoom in. It's pretty much like a farming deserty zone, and probably some sort of industry zone. So this is the place that they want the civilian to go, and I'm not sure if the civilians will be complying, or will they be able to reach there. So but you can see that this is basically where they will be trapped with the Israeli moving in all directions in, and everyone will have to push into this area, this small little area here. But let's see. All this is just a bit too early, I would say. But the bombing is happening. If you are in Gaza and Gaza Strip, and you are able to watch this stream somehow, despite there's no electricity and no anything, yeah, I would suggest you get there, because it is just put it this way, trust that the Israeli will bomb the rest of the Gaza Strip. So the best place is go to where they say they will not bomb. On the outside, the Hamas forces, or the anti-Israeli forces, continue their shelling around Gaza Strip, and they are shelling literally everywhere. So basically, I no need to go through all the different places. You can see all the dark green area here. Basically they shell this place, this. So basically everywhere over the past 3 days, and of course Sderot and all these different places. So this is very unimportant. I know you guys are not interested in that. One interesting place that is shelled is actually this airbase over here. This Ramon airbase was reportedly shelled by the Al-Aqsa brigade. They reported that they launched a rocket barrage towards this airbase. I'm not sure what is the situation here, but this airbase is really in the middle of nowhere. It's quite amazing to see an airbase over there. What is of significance, however, is the Israeli have retaken the Erez checkpoint. So according to Israeli media, the Israeli authorities have managed to re-enter the checkpoint, and there is video footage confirming that the Israeli has basically retaken the Erez checkpoint. So this also means that the Hamas forces have basically withdrawn largely from all this region here into their prepared position to prepare for the Israeli offensive. So while this place, the checkpoint is recaptured by the Israeli, there is still fighting in the northern front. Particularly, there was some fighting being sorry, this is a bombardment. This is the wrong icon. There is fighting reported over at Ashkelon. So according to pro-Palestinian media, they reported that there are naval commandos from the Hamas forces moving into Ashkelon. They managed to go from the coast of Ashkelon, and there is clashes being rumored over in this area here. So they landed, and they kind of have clashed with the Israeli forces somewhere. It is unclear exactly where in Ashkelon that they managed to land. So just take it with a pinch of salt. Previously, before the report of the land fighting at Ashkelon, what was heard was that there is gunfire around at the Zikim Beach region. So I'm not sure if the if they actually landed over at Zikim Beach and actually proceeded in and they just call it fighting around the Ashkelon region, or did they actually go around and actually landed nearer to Ashkelon. So, but anyway, this report of fighting was actually reported over on the 17th, and we are already on the 19th. So basically, this attack has already been expired. Most likely, these commandos might have already been eliminated or invalidated because maybe it did not happen, because I didn't really see this being reported by the Israeli side. So no, maybe it did not happen. So away from Gaza, we go to the northern front. This time around, there's a lot more action coming from Lebanon. There's a lot more shelling being reported. Most of this shelling is actually by anti-tank guided missiles over at Metula, Magaliot, Menara, over, and this is Ifta, Makia, Hafdorf, and then there's an attempt to by some individuals trying to bomb the security fence, but they were killed after they got detected. There's also no attack over at Stula, at Zarit, and so you can see that the shelling has intensified by quite a bit from the I wouldn't say Hezbollah, because the last time that we heard of the attack is by the Hamas Lebanon units. So they attacked all this area here. So, and if you look at the range of the attack, it looks tremendously distant, and which means that whoever these anti-Israeli forces, they do have a huge force or have a huge spread across the entire border region, and this is going to make it very troublesome from the Israelis. They have to deploy quite a number of troops in order to hold this border region, and the Israeli, of course, strike back. They actually there was shelling being reported at Aitash Ashab, as well as over in the Alamal El Chiam El Shab. Yeah, this spelling is a bit weird. The Elma El Shab. So and there's also airstrikes being reported within Lebanon. Exact places is unknown. There's also shelling being reported at Aitaron. So it's basically skirmishes, exchanges of artillery or mortar and ATGMs, hit and runs. So it's still pretty much skirmishy. So I don't think there's any threat of Hezbollah or any ground offensive from the Lebanese side to enter into Israel. And even if they try, it's going to be nearly impossible because this is a military defense line for the Israeli. So it's pretty much, like Golan Heights. Basically, anyone want to come in from this direction is just suicide. So it's very unlikely that this kind of offensive can happen. The more likelihood is that they will just keep firing and tempt the Israeli to actually launch a ground offensive into Lebanon, and that's where they can actually Taliban them to a death. So tentatively, that's it from the northern front. There's a long range rocket strike at Haifa. Of course, again, it's the R160. No reports of any damage as far as I can remember. So over within the West Bank region, as usual, there is shootings all over the place. But what is most significant was there is mass protest within the West Bank, and the Palestinian Authority, the legitimate or the recognized government of Palestine, actually sent in their security forces and tried to suppress all these protests. And there is reports coming from all these Palestinian media or Telegram channel, or they might be just simply anti-Israel, say that there is shooting. There is a shooting by the authority over at Tubas. Another shooting was reported at Sinjar, another at Dayal Jareh, another one over here in Ramallah, East Ramallah. So again, you can see Palestinian Authority shoots at resident over at Deir Jareh. or basically East Ramallah. So there is all these claims, and another one over at Dahiriya. So there's a lot of these accusations of the Palestinian Authority shooting at their own people, and this is probably likely as part of the main ploy by the Hamas to overthrow the Palestinian Authority, because now they are getting all this goodwill and trust and positive PR from the Arab world as well as among the Palestinians. They are being seen as the one that's fighting for the Palestinians and against the Israeli occupiers. So this is creating a very massive challenge for the Palestinian Authority, which I did mention quite a bit in the main channel, where I talk more about the geopolitics. So you can check out the main channel. I talk a lot more about this kind of thing, and I did also already highlighted that the Palestinian Authority's legitimacy is now under threat by whatever is happening over in this war. And on top of that, because of this threat coming out from Hamas, that is not threatening just Israel but also the legitimacy of the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority basically confiscate firearms, personal firearms, weapons from their members and security forces, and also they reduce the amount of ammunition that is actually being issued to their security forces. Now they are only issued up to only 5 bullets instead of several magazines. This is out of fear that the members might actually just take this weapon and join the resistance and carry out operations against the Israelis, or even against themselves. So this is actually I just want to highlight also from my own experience. 5 bullets is actually pretty common for standard peacetime guards. So like even when I was in the army, when I was doing guard duty, soldiers are only carrying 5 bullets. So because we're not expecting to fight a war, we're not expecting to fight heavily armed people, 5 bullets is enough for you to kill 5 people. Essentially 1 bullet, 1 person. But of course it's not meant to do that. It's one shot. There's actually 2 shots meant for warning shots. The other 3 you can shoot, and we are supposed to aim and shoot. One bullet can kill a person, so it's actually enough. But so this is actually mainly to deter their security forces or members like the police or whoever from going rogue. So otherwise the Israeli continue their raids and operations within the West Bank, and there is those armed members from all the various rebel groups or terror groups firing at the Israeli. So there is shooting be reported at Beir Haigai, over here in the region of Bethlehem. Particularly we are talking about Deisha, the Deisha camp. But this Deisha camp, one Palestinian was reportedly injured after getting shot by the Israeli security forces, and this comes at the same time as there was a raid reported at the Deisha. The Israeli the Red Crescent also reported that there was some clashes where the Israeli fired a live bullet over at the Aida camp, and further up in the north there is clashes between the Israeli soldiers and some guys, not sure who, but this armed clash. So this is some fighting as well, and there is further attacks from the resistance fighters, or the whoever the forces is against the Israeli. They open fire against these Israeli soldiers over at Kakilia, and over near the Nisane Oz region. Basically the another group. This is not Hamas. This is another group. This Al-Aqsa Martyr Brigade. They actually launched an attack against the Israeli forces that was actually traveling through this checkpoint, and fighting was also reported at Nil Sham. So and then I think there's other ones are over at Nablus, where there is a IDF officer getting killed over at Nablus, and the South Nablus there's also fighting between the Israeli and the resistance. So very messy. As you can see, super messy over the West Bank, and situation over in the against Lebanon is rising. The tension is rising. There's a lot more shelling, and a lot more hit and run attacks from the Lebanese side, regardless who is actually over there that is doing the fighting. Otherwise, over at the Gaza Strip is pretty much a standoff and a standstill, because the Israeli don't dare to go in, and they just continue to do airstrikes, whereas the Hamas forces also can't do anything. They can only do rocket attacks. And basically that is the current situation over in Israel and Palestine. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and and also, no, I keep forgetting I should say this in the beginning. You can actually access this map. You check the description below, and I'll see you in the next update.